whatever you're doing, like, and I say it in most of the episodes, like, this really isn't about forcing anything. God gives you the vision. Like, God is always going to give you the vision. Just let divine do what divine is going to do. Take your time. Like, don't feel like because you have such a good connection with somebody that you have to rush it to get everything that you want, because you might overstretch it and break it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay, y'all. So welcome back to first of all, this is the first episode. We shot already, but the music was so loud, we were like, let's stop. And then it was quiet, but Sonny was cutting.
I was.
And now the music's back on, but it's not as loud.
It's not as bad. It was horrible before.
I mean, it was a band.
Yeah, we can do this. I can hear you.
Yeah. So guys, this is my first episode with a guest. Of course, I had to bring my girl on. I know what y'all thought it was, but it was never that.
It was never that.
And so this is Take Your Time podcast. I am Queeney, and this is Masani.
Hey, y'all.
How you feel, girl? How you feel?
I feel good. Like, I love this whole thing. Like, this is very cute. Very cute. Very Queenie.
Sonny cut my hair the other day, y'all.
Okay, because let the people know. I'm her barber. You could never.
No, literally.
You can never. Actually.
I'm not cheating on her anymore. I learned my lessons.
Mm-hmm. But this is so cute. Like, this is my first time ever, like, cutting hair as an event.
Yeah.
I only cut one head, but
that was cute. Girl, cut more. Because the people was waiting around. I keep seeing people, like, circling back to see if somebody cutting. Like, I'm tired.
Mm-hmm.
I'm tired.
Yeah. And typically, I don't know how I feel about cutting heads for free, but today it's like, I can get this.
And y'all, we set this up, and I said it in my last video, but we set this up in literally 10 days. And I had Sonny, Shay, and P come out, and they have been so helpful, y'all. Like, I don't know what I would have done without three women, but it just lets you know, like, when we really come together, you know what I mean? Like, of course, we still got our little cattiness about us. I guess that's what the world say.
Yeah, that's what they say.
Yeah,
and that can be true.
Yeah,
as it's true.
But when we come together, like, we can do anything.
Okay,
it look real dope over here.
It does. Very cute. All the cameramen was over here. Yes. Taking videos. I think is it loud? No, but yeah, they was all over here. It was popping over here for sure. So good job.
Thank you, friend. I can't wait. It's gonna be so many more. Like, this is just the start.
Yeah. Well, I'll be there.
All right, duh.
Hopefully the next one isn't in Duluth, but
what are y'all gonna do if it's in a different state? Well, we could get a big Airbnb.
All right, we're not making plans right now, but
we're just talking about that in the last cut.
All right, moving along. Oh gosh, so yeah, like, how do you feel about today?
I feel really good. I'm like I'm relaxed now. Like, you know how, like, in the beginning, like, when you're first starting to get everything prepared, the day is there, like, the anxiety. Oh my gosh, the nerves.
Yeah, we was in the car on the way here, and she was practicing her lines.
I was practicing because I knew that I did the panel today.
Yeah.
And so I wanted to make sure that I kind of had an idea of how I was going to answer.
And this is your first panel.
Yeah. And I had Masani as my audience.
Yes.
And baby, your girl was shaking in her boots. Okay?
But I know you'll be fine because, you know, you're here for the social media topic. How to, I guess, use social media to help your business. And I just feel like you just speaking on your own experience.
Yeah.
So it's not really much you have to think about.
Yeah.
You know?
I know. And it's so crazy because when I was in the break room, the other panelists were in there. And Jackie, the radio host, And I was like telling them, because they was like, oh, you know, they were asking about it. I'm like, y'all, I'm so nervous. And so they were back there giving me all type of pointers. Yeah. Jackie walking me up like, you just got to be yourself, girl. Like, it's going to be like an actual conversation. Yeah. And as soon as I got up there, outside, and she was up there by herself. She thought that she was going to be up there with I thought it was going to be multiple people, y'all. Yeah. It was me and the interviewer. I'm going to also say that I had some chill water. Oh, God. She did. It's the placebo. Oh, my God. I prayed to my water. I don't know what you're talking about. You do. I do. They don't. Anyways, okay, not the chill water. Oh, God. But, yeah, when I got up there, like, my nerves completely went away. Yeah. Because the questions that she was asking me, she's right. Like, I just talked about my own experience. Yeah. And I'm just so glad that it's over. Mm-hmm. I'm glad that even the event, you know, has been fulfilled because it's something about that initial, you know what I mean? Yeah, for sure. But I think I'm always gonna have it. Yeah. I know it's something okay. Yeah. That's okay. You need them feelings sometimes, you know? It's cause, right, like, even this event, in my head, when he sent me the email, I'm like, you should turn it down. You know, it was a fear kicking in. Like, you should turn it down. You only got 10 days. Who are you? Where are you getting this money from? And then I sat with myself for a little while, and I'm like, nah, you need to do that. Run it. I didn't have no product. I didn't have anything. And God works in so, we talked about this the other day. God is so divine. You know what I mean? Yeah. The day after I got the email, my client who does merch sat in my chair. He had already had an appointment because I opened my schedule up a month in advance. Yeah. So as soon as he sat down, I said, I need the help. I said, I'm up real quick for me, please. No, I told him. I said, I have a bunch of art that's been sitting in my Canva of things that I want to put on stuff. I said, can you look at them and tell me what you think? He told me the phrase. I created it. I sent it to him. Guess what, guys? The merch is over there. Okay? It's on the table. Yeah. I got a haircut by Sonny on Wednesday. Was that Wednesday? I don't remember. But yeah, Sonny come out here on Wednesday. She said that she could come. I knew I wanted her to be my guest. We had such a great time together. We went and ate. The next day, I met Tay 2 days ago. So it's just been, everything has been so divine. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And it's like, you really don't have anything to worry about, but again, it does go back to your natural innate instinct. Yeah, that is really, I mean, a part of me likes to think that, you know, I could get to a point where I'm fearless. Like, yeah, nothing scares me. Yeah. But it's just like, that's kind of boring. Yeah. Y'all like the little, you know, the little butterfly feeling. It be burning. Little bubbles in the tummy. It be burning. It's burning. No. It be burning. It hurts. I'd be so glad when it's gone. But you're right. I think like the contrast, right? So you feel it, and in the moment it's like, but then afterwards you like, wow, like I did it. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yep. And that's, I feel like that's the best feeling. That really is. You're right. Yeah. So, and that's one thing I've been thinking about lately is like, when's the last time you did something that like really scared you? Ooh. Friend, I was in the car crying this morning. In tears of joy. Like, I wasn't crying because I was like sad and like, woe is me. It was like, wow, like you are really, things like this, I feel like they're quantum jumps. You know what I mean? Like things that you've never did and you have to like really push yourself to do. Yeah. I feel like that's a quantum jump. So I knew that I was in the midst of a quantum jump and my spirit was so overwhelmed. Yeah. And I was on the phone, you know, Bessie and my mama, you know, Bessie praying, okay? She sleeps like, hallelujah, Lord Jesus, please bring us, you know what I mean? Like, okay. Yeah. So, yeah. Yeah, okay. You're right. The risk. Mm-hmm. So what was yours? Last time I did something that scared me? Oh, girl. Oh, girl. Yeah, I want to talk about that. I mean, so she walking right in the camera. We're recording her.
She wasn't so strong.
And I'm gonna keep it in the podcast.
I'm dead.
Okay.
But I told someone I loved it. And that was scary for me. It's very corny. I don't want to get into the details.
Oh my God.
I'm not the most affectionate person.
No.
I'm not. So stuff like that.
I've been trying to have conversations.
Takes a lot out of
You
me.
looking at me like, girl. Again?
It takes a lot of me. And it's crazy. When you talk about the divine thing, that was divine because so I was on my trip, right? And I knew on this whole trip that I needed to tell this person, but I didn't the whole trip.
The whole trip.
The whole trip. Was about to leave. And I missed my flight. After I missed my flight, I said, you know what? I guess you're not leaving until you say it, baby. You're going to do it.
Yeah.
So, I said,
how did it go?
Okay. We're not talking about that on this episode. But, yeah, that was probably the last time I did something that was like,
oh.
Yeah.
So the whole trip, did you kind of have, like, you kept feeling it? Did it kept coming up?
It wasn't like the whole time, but I think it was like towards the end, you know, like,
oh, yeah.
Girl, you're playing.
Yep. And that's crazy that you say that, because I told my mom and her bestie, like, the whole time that I've been planning everything and getting everything, I haven't had the feeling. It wasn't until I woke up this morning.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. You get to that moment, like right before, and it's like, woo.
And so, I don't know. I guess there's so much that you could say about that, but I think, like, in general, you're going to have to go through it. The feelings are okay.
Yeah.
And something that I heard was, like, your body or your mind doesn't know the difference between you being anxious and you're excited. Because you still have the same feelings.
Right.
Yeah. So you have to trick your mind and tell your mind that you're excited.
Yes. Okay, so shout out to facing your fears. Okay? Heavy on it. Face your fears.
Face your fears.
It's worth it. For sure. It is worth it.
It's a quantum jump.
Yeah.
Do you feel like you had a shift? Like, I know that's verbiage, but
no,
still.
It was though. Like, I needed to do that because, like, you know, the other person, they had told me already. Mm-hmm. So it was like, once that happened, it was like, yeah, I feel like the relationship changed.
And people, like, I know, I'm like I'm not overly, but I know I'm sensitive. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I know that there's a lot of depth, but sometimes, like, when I'm having conversations, oh my God, it's my phone.
All right, they taking it to touch now. They taking it to touch.
You better sing it. Never mind.
Shout out to us for drinking juice on today's.
Yeah, this is a non-alcoholic event, guys. We're drinking OJ out of champagne glasses because why not?
Yes. So, what did we start to talk about on the? Okay, so before when we started recording, this is nothing that we were talking about before.
Literally, not at all.
Whole new conversation. But we were talking about how we didn't want people to think that this was like us taking a pause or a break was because, you know, we're two women and we can't get along. Like, that's the only thing I didn't want to be.
And so we had a conversation. And if you want to recap a little bit, like, we reconnected, we thought, because we took a little break, you know, because life happened. And then we just ended up having a conversation about, like, what we should do with our business. And Masani talked about a little bit about, like, how you felt about the conversation.
Yeah. So, yeah, I didn't really necessarily want to stop because, you know, I loved what we were doing. From the beginning. Yeah. Like, from the start.
Literally.
We're doing beautiful things. Yes, together. But at the same time, I knew it was necessary in the back of my mind. And when I saw you had put out the podcast, cause she didn't tell me she was starting a podcast. But it's all right. But when I saw it, I was happy. Yeah. I was like, this is great. Amen.
Cause and I know,
yes.
You know, like when we
You've been wanting to do a podcast. Like before we even came together, you wanted to do it. And you're doing it.
Yes, and I'm like, yes. But that don't stop this. Like, that don't stop this.
Yeah.
You know, that is something important to talk about because, you know, there were some other things that was happening in the media. And for us to be like going as hard as we was to just stop. Yeah. I'm sure people had their own thoughts and opinions about it, right? But we handled ourselves like we did us too. Yeah. We had a conversation. You ready? We just had a conversation and decided, you know, right now we need to kind of pause. We need to take a break on the business. And I think that that's a very important and it's a very mature thing for us to do, right? Because in so many situations, it's so easy to force a relationship because you see the vision and you're so excited about the business, you know? But then our lives come into place, our own individual lives come into place. Yeah. And sometimes if you continue to strike something that doesn't really have any more flexibility, it risks, right? Mm-hmm. So why not stop stressing? Yeah. You know, if you can't put any focus in on it. Yeah. And so we just decided to kind of pause. And I think that that's like really a lesson for relationships in general. For sure. You know, people feel like you gotta burn bridges or you gotta wait for it to break for you to leave. And you don't have to do that. You don't. Sometimes you just need a moment. You need a moment. I needed a moment. Yeah. I'm not gonna lie. I needed a moment. And I was telling her before to like really figure out what it is that I wanted. Because don't get me wrong, like I loved doing like a podcast. Like I love our conversation. But before us coming together, a podcast was not my business. Exactly, yeah. So that's why I was so happy when I seen you starting your podcast. Because that was your business. Yeah. And it's not, I was laying it on her. Y'all know if you go watch Barber-based podcast, when we decided to work together, I was like, let's do this. Yeah. I was just happy, you know, to do something. Yeah. But now it's just a place of, okay, what do you want to do? Right. What do you want to do? What do you want? And it doesn't have to be what people tell you should do. Exactly. Or what, you know, what it looks like you should do. So yeah, just really looking in. And there's two things. I think that anything that we create together is always amazing. Like, I mean, even as simple as us doing karaoke, right, at the Christmas party, okay, you know what I mean? Yeah. Or us having our events, like everything that we do. So it's not anything that we can't do that's not going to flourish, right? And to be able to take our time in that, right? Yeah. But it's also like, I know that I was really heavily focused on my business too. I was focused on myself too. Yeah. And Reagan had just started homeschooling, you know what I mean? So, I mean, yeah, I just think sometimes it takes two people cultivating their own spaces. Yeah. You know what I mean? And then eventually coming back together. Yeah. So that we can actually know what we want to do. Because that was the issue with us. Like, we were kind of bouncing around and around some ideas and concepts and trying to figure it out, you know? Yeah. And so do you feel like you know yourself, better? I do. Yeah. I do. One thing I've accepted about myself is, I don't really care too much for like spotlight and like attention. Like I enjoy making myself like being useful, but like behind the scenes. Yeah. Like I don't like attention. I really don't. I actually prefer. Really? Yes. Don't look at me. So good. Don't look at me. Look. Don't look at me. We're looking. I know. Yeah. Look away. No, even the concept that we're talking about, she's like, yeah, I think I'm gonna be behind the camera. Whatever you want, friend. I like it. Yeah, I know. And if I can be as successful as possible without
you know.
And you can.
And I know.
Yeah.
And I know that. So that's like where my head is now. I understand now that I don't want to cut hair for too much longer. I'm always going to cut hair, but you know, and just figuring out ways to slowly like pull away from having to cut hair every day. But it's a process.
It is.
It's all a process. So yeah, every day, just learning more and more.
That's it. That's all it is. It's a step-by-step process.
Yeah.
But I think everything we talked about, just to circle back, like, whatever you're doing, like, and I say it in most of the episodes, like, this really isn't about forcing anything. God gives you the vision. Like, God is always going to give you the vision. Just let divine do what divine is going to do. Take your time. Like, don't feel like because you have such a good connection with somebody that you have to rush it to get everything that you want, because you might overstretch it and break it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
This is my dog. Like, that's my dog. Like,
I done been in her crib, met the family, and I'm part of the family, you know?
Yeah.
So, yeah. We locked in. We good. And so we gotta look out for our next, you know.
Oh, yeah.
It's coming. Yes, it's coming. We're gonna do something. We don't know exactly what yet, but we're gonna do something and it's gonna be good. So yeah.
Thank you, friend, for coming on. I love you.
I'll probably do that.
All right, y'all. Thank you for tuning into this episode. Make sure you follow and subscribe, and we will see you on the next one.
Hey.